worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Network. My name is Todd D. Goldfinger, and here's today's news. Over the past 5 years, hundreds of Jehovah's Witnesses have been subjected to raids, arrests, and prosecution in Russia. Many others have fled, including one couple, Dmitry and Nelia Ansibor, who flew to Mexico last year, walked across the U.S. border to seek asylum, and now hope to build a new life for themselves in Washington state. After entering the U.S., the couple were separated and sent to different immigration detention centers. Nelia in Arizona, Dmitry in California. Sorry. Nearly 3 months passed before they reunited in late February. Yet, despite that ordeal and missing her twin sister and her mother left behind in Russia, Nelia welcomes her newfound freedom in Federal Way, a suburb of Seattle. Quotes, "It is nice to not be afraid to gather with our brothers and sisters, even if it's via Zoom," end quote, she said through a translator. Quotes, "I have a sense of ease now," end quotes. One new source of concern, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Next news. Vice President Kamala Harris will visit Alabama on Sunday as the nation marks a defining moment in the fight for the right to vote. A trip that comes as congressional efforts to restore the landmark 1965 Voting Rights Act have faltered. Harris is traveling to Selma, Alabama, to commemorate the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, the day in 1965 when white state troopers attacked black voting rights marchers attempting to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge. The nation's first female vice president, as well as the first African American and Indian American in the role, will speak at the site often referred to as hallowed ground in the fight for voting right for minority citizens. For voting rights. State troopers on March 7, 1965, beat and tear-gassed peaceful demonstrators, including young activist John Lewis, who later became a longtime Georgia congressman. The images of the violence shocked a nation and helped to galvanize support for passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Next news. 6 people were killed Saturday when a tornado swept through central Iowa, damaging buildings and knocking down trees and power lines, authorities said. Emergency management officials in Madison County said 4 were injured in addition to those killed when the tornado touched down in the area southwest of Des Moines at about 4:30 p.m. Among those killed were children and adults. Madison County Emergency Management Director Diogenes Ayala said 25 to 30 homes were badly damaged by the tornado. Quotes, "This is the worst anyone has seen in a very long time," end quotes, he said. Officials didn't identify those killed, but said they were not all in the same location. Wendy Burkett told the Des Moines Register she and 2 of her 3 daughters were in their house Saturday afternoon when her husband Tony called her from a nearby shed where he was working and alerted her about a tornado warning. Next news. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham is facing intense pushback from all corners of Washington after calling for the Russian people to end the Ukraine war. Oh, God. He says by assassinating President Vladimir Putin. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Friday that is not the position of the United States government. End quotes. Graham, a former Air Force lawyer and longtime defense hawk, tweeted Thursday evening that the only people who can fix this are Russians. The only way this ends is for someone in Russia to, in quotes, to take this guy out, end quotes. Graham tweeted, quotes, "You would be doing your country and the world a great service," end quotes. We're going to take a short break from the daily English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's a continuation of the news. The massive super yacht Dilbar stretches 1.5 football fields in length, about as long as a World War I dreadnought. It boasts 2 helipads, berths for more than 130 people, and a 25-meter swimming pool, long enough to accommodate another whole super yacht. Dilbar was launched in 2016 at a reported cost of more than $648 million. 5 years on, its purported owner, the Kremlin-aligned Russian oligarch Alisher Usmanov, was already dissatisfied and sent the vessel to a German shipyard last fall, for a retrofit, reportedly costing another couple $100 million. That's where she lay in dry dock on Thursday when the United States and the European Union announced economic sanctions against Usmanov, a metals magnate and early investor in Facebook, over his ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin, and in retaliation for the invasion of Ukraine. Quotes, "We are joining with our European allies to find and seize your yachts, your luxury apartments, your private jets," end quotes. President Joe Biden said during his State of the Union speech Tuesday night addressing the oligarchs. Quotes, "We are coming for your ill-begotten gains," end quote. Thank you. Next news. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has set off the largest mass migration in Europe in decades, with more than 1.5 million people having crossed from Ukraine into neighboring countries. Quotes, "The fastest growing refugee crisis in Europe since World War II," end quotes. The head of the UN Refugee Agency tweeted on Sunday. Nearly all of the refugees have gone to other countries in Europe, where they have generally encountered a warm welcome. But some may eventually need permanent resettlement in the United States if they are unable to return to Ukraine. Next news. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Sunday pledged America's support to the small, Western-leaning former Soviet Republic of Moldova that is coping with an influx of refugees from Ukraine and warily watching Russia's intensifying war with its neighbor. Blinken met with senior Moldovan officials who are appealing for international assistance in dealing with more than 120,000 refugees from Ukraine that is now hosting, while also seeking security reassurances against potential Russian aggression. More than 230,000 people have fled into or passed through Moldova from Ukraine since the war began 11 days ago. Blinken said Moldova's welcoming of refugees is an inspiration to the world. Quotes, "We admire the generosity and hospitality, the willingness to be such good friends to people who are in distress. And, indeed, I want to do everything we can do to help you deal with the burden that this has imposed, end quotes, he said. Next news. Fighting for his country's survival, Ukraine's leader made a desperate plea Saturday to American lawmakers for the United States to help get more warplanes to his military and cut off Russian oil imports as Kiev tries to stave off the Russian invasion. President Volodymyr Zelensky opened the private video call with U.S. lawmakers by telling them this may be the last time they see him alive. His remain in Kiev, the capital, which has a vast Russian armored column threatening from the north. Appearing in what is now his trademark army green shirt in front of a white wall with the Ukrainian flag. He told them Ukraine needs to secure its skies, either through a no-fly zone enforced by NATO or through the provision of more warplanes so Ukraine could better defend itself. Zelensky has been pleading for a no-fly zone for days, but NATO has refused, saying it could provoke a widespread war with Russia. We don't want that. We're going to take a short break from the daily English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7, Global News Network. Here's a continuation of the news. Plans to evacuate civilians from a besieged port city in Ukraine collapsed Sunday for the second time, along with an expected Russian ceasefire. Ukrainian officials said as they tried to persuade Russia to agree on terms for safely getting residents out of areas under fire near Ukraine's capital. Residents expected to leave the port city of Mariupol during a 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. local ceasefire. Ukrainian military authorities said earlier in the day. Interior Ministry advisor Anton Gerashenko said the planned evacuations were halted because of an ongoing assault by Russian troops. Quotes, "There can be no green corridors because the only sick brain of the Russians decides when to start shooting and at whom," end quote, Gerashenko said on Telegram. The news dashed hopes of progress in easing, much less ending, the war in Ukraine, which is now in its 11th day and has caused 1.5 million people to flee the country. The head of the UN Refugee Agency on Sunday called the exodus, quotes, the fastest growing refugee crisis in Europe since World War II. End quotes. Next news. News reports from Kiev and other Ukrainian cities under unrelenting bombardment by the Russian military have been triggering painful memories among the survivors of the 1990s siege of Bosnian capital Sarajevo. And yet, many have been spending hours on end glued to their television screens since Russian President Vladimir Putin launched the invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. Quotes, "Not so long ago, we were them," end quotes, said Amra Muftik, who survived the 1992-95 siege, watching news reports showing civilians taking refuge from Russian rocket attacks, shelling and gunfire in basements and subway stations. Quotes, "If our experience is anything to go by, and I have a gut feeling that it is, things are about to get much worse for them," she added. Next news. A group of 100 Ukrainian Jewish orphans who were evacuated from the country after Russia invaded have landed in Israel. Jewish immigrants landed. The children were evacuated from the central Ukrainian city of Zhytomyr and brought to Israel by the KKLJNF organization, the Jewish Agency for Israel, a quasi-governmental organization that manages immigration affairs, said that it had received 5,500 urgent requests by Ukrainian Jews to move to Israel since Russia attacked on February 24th of 2022. Next news. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned Saturday that Ukrainian statehood is in jeopardy and likened the West's sanctions on Russia to declaring war, while a promised ceasefire in the besieged port city of Mariupol collapsed amid scenes of terror, with the Kremlin's rhetoric growing fiercer and a reprieve from fighting dissolving. Russian troops continued to shell encircled cities, and the number of Ukrainians forced from their country grew to 1.4 million. By nighttime, Russian forces had intensified their shelling of Mariupol, while dropping powerful bombs on residential areas of Chernihiv, a city north of Kiev, Ukrainian officials said. We're going to take a short break from the daily English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
welcome back to Millennium TV News 24/7 Global News Network. Here's the continuation of the news. More than 100 hungry and weak Rohingya Muslims were found on a beach in Indonesia's northernmost province of Aceh, Aceh, on Sunday after weeks at sea. Officials said the group arrived on Jangka Beach near Alubuya Pazi, a fishing village in Biren district, early Sunday. The villagers who saw the 114 ethnic Rohingya on a rickety wooden boat helped them to land and then reported their arrival to authorities, said Badruddin Yunus, the leader of the local tribal fishing community. Quotes, "They look very weak from hunger and dehydration after a long and severe voyage at sea," end quotes, said Yunus, adding it wasn't clear where the group was traveling from or where it was headed because none of them could speak English or Malay. Next news. A Ukrainian paramedic who was shot while on her way to evacuate injured people from the outskirts of Kiev was buried in the country's capital on Saturday. Valentina Pusic was known locally as Romashka, which means Daisy. A friend described her as a daredevil who was never afraid to get under bullets. She was always running to the most dangerous places to rescue the injured, Natalia Varankova said. Pusic used to be a well-paid worker at a transport and logistics company. But in 2016, she joined the army as a paramedic in response to the separatist conflict in eastern Ukraine. Several women, including some dressed in camouflage jackets, cried as her body lay in a casket at a service. A portrait of Pusic was on a wall nearby. Next news. As demand for COVID-19 vaccines collapses in many areas of the U.S., states are scrambling to use stockpiles of doses before they expire and have to be added to the millions that have already gone to waste. From some of the least vaccinated states, like Indiana and North Dakota, to some of the most vaccinated states, like New Jersey and Vermont. Public health departments are shuffling doses around in the hopes of finding providers that can use them. State health departments told the Associated Press they have tracked millions of doses that went to waste, including the ones that expired, were in a multi-dose vial that couldn't be used completely or had to be tossed for some other reason like temperature issues or broken vials. Next news. The official global death toll from COVID-19 is on the verge of eclipsing 6 million. 6 million deaths, underscoring that the pandemic, now in its third year, is far from over. The milestone is the latest tragic reminder of the unrelenting nature of the pandemic. Even as people are shedding masks, travel is resuming, and businesses are reopening around the globe. The death toll compiled by Johns Hopkins University stood at 5,996,882 deaths as of Sunday morning, and was expected to pass the 6 million mark later in the day. Remote Pacific islands, whose isolation had protected them for more than 2 years, are just now grappling with their first outbreaks and deaths. Fueled by the highly contagious Omicron variant, Hong Kong, which is seeing deaths soar, is testing its entire population of 7.5 million people 3 times this month as it clings to mainland China's zero COVID strategy. This has been the daily global news update of Millennium News TV 24/7. Thank you for watching. Please log in to get the latest news on all of our social networking sites: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. On TikTok, we are Millennium News 24. Also, please check out our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and comment. Our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. News Channel M24. Please remember that. Viewers, now on both network broadcasting, Android and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. Also, all smart TV platforms. Got that? Please enjoy our entertainment and latest news, views, editorials, current events, and more. Our Millennium TV apps, Millennium TV USA on Android, Millennium News Google. Google us. Look us up on the web at www.millenniumnews24.com. Please stay with Millennium News 24. Thank you. My name is Todd and wish you all the best. Thank you.